Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. BJP Lok Sabha MP Nishikant Dubey has blamed Supreme Court for all the civil wars in the country. He even said that if Supreme Court has to make laws, then there is no need for parliament and assemblies. In fact, pinpointedly, he said that SC is crossing all the boundaries. Criminal contempt petition has been filed and is waiting for the consent of the Attorney General. But the big question is, will Nishikant Dubey apologize or face a jail term of 6 months? Why is BJP not taking any disciplinary action against Dubey? What is his utility in the party? I'm joined on all this and much more. I'm joined by veteran author, journalist, economist, and advisor to former Prime Minister Vishwanath Pratap Singh. Prem Shankar Jha joins us this evening. So thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, and especially on a topic like this. What are your first thoughts on Nishikant Dubey's comments on Supreme Court that CJI is the one responsible for goading the country, into anarchy and and to religious war, and statements like these? What does it really show? What does it reflect?
Well, first of all, I don't have to tell you that the statement is utter nonsense. This person, Nishikant Dubey, is semi-literate. He knows nothing about democracy. I don't know how and why the BJP chose him to even be a parliamentarian or a member, on behalf of it. But whatever it is, the fact is what he has said is absolutely outrageous. First of all, Nishikant Dubey is now attacking the Supreme Court. It's saying that it is responsible for all the violence, communal violence in the country. It is responsible. Not what the government is doing, but the reaction. The reaction is responsible, which is insane. It's like saying Hitler declared war on Europe. And sent in his tanks, but Europe was responsible. So this is just absurdity. Nishikant Dubey is doing it, I think, because he wants to curry favor with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. There have been two very regrettable previous, there may be more, but I remember two, but in particular, where people who have made outrageous statements which have cost hundreds of lives have become cabinet minister and deputy finance minister, respectively. The cabinet minister is Kapil Mishra, who defied the orders, the police orders, and the government's supposed order, and started a riot in East Delhi in 2020. That cost 52 lives, I believe. I think one or two may have been Hindus, but the rest were Muslims. It was a pogrom, a small pogrom, thank God, but it was a pogrom. The second was Anurag Thakur. Now, Anurag Thakur was the one who said to the police to fire upon this sit-down strike in Shaheen Bagh. He legitimized that, and in the process, yes, police firing did take place. The Shaheen Bagh demonstration people were rather brutally removed from there. Several were injured. I can't remember how many were killed. The students in Jamia Jamia was vandalized. Students were arrested. Several of them are in jail today, facing charges that nobody is even bothering to bring to the courts, 5 years later. So, and what is Kapil Mishra today? Kapil Mishra today is the finance minister of the country. Now, Modi, on the one hand, whatever the BJP may say it claim or about its own magnificent defense of Hindu Dharma and Hindutva, they are actually inciting violence against Muslims specifically, nobody else, and leaving no stone unturned to do this. They're driving Muslims into a corner, and they're driving Muslims into a corner where, as the history of only Sri Lanka a few years ago showed, that if you drive them hard enough into a corner, all
Right.
that the youth will, let me finish, all that the youth can do is to rebel, and then you say, look, there they are, we are justified in what we did.
No, but Mr. Jha, I want to understand from you that, what is Nishikant Dubey's objective when he actually attacked the judiciary and the Chief Justice of India in this manner? And just a few days before, not like 3 days before, we heard the Vice President of India, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, also saying that Supreme Court cannot become the super parliament. And immediately after 3 days, here you have a BJP MP who says that Supreme Court is leading the country into anarchy and civil war, and CGI is responsible for it. And it's getting more and more brazen. What do you think is the message which the ruling dispensation is trying to send out to the judiciary?
Well, the message is pure threat. The fact is that if you look at what Narendra Modi has been doing, he has systematically rewarded in outrageous ways uh, judges of the Supreme Court who have held up outrageous judgments in favor of the government. Let me start with K. Sadashivam, who threw out the SIT report on the Ahmedabad riots, and did not listen, did not even allow the amicus curiae who had been appointed by the Supreme Court to oversee the work of the SIT and had given a very damning report on the way the SIT worked, did not even allow them a hearing. Sadashivam went on to become Chief Justice, and after he became Chief Justice, the unprecedented thing happened. He was made Governor of Kerala. It's an ironic thing. The Governor of Kerala gives the oath, the Chief Justice, the Supreme Court, gives the oath to the Prime Minister. And similarly, the Chief Justice in the states gives the oath of allegiance to the Chief Minister. Now, here what you have is you have a Justice of the Supreme Court who is now going to be, who has to take that oath before a Chief Justice who is in fact junior to him. This is not the only example. The head of the SIT, when he finally was allowed to resign, Raghavan, was promptly appointed ambassador in Cyprus. Arun Mishra, who was judge of the Supreme Court, who did the unprecedented thing, not even permitted in the Constitution, of taking a Gujarat High Court judgment which freed 11 people who had been convicted of the killing of the Godhra riots. I think it was either the Godhra riots or Haran Pandya's. I think it's the Godhra riots. The Gujarat High Court, no, it could be one or the other. I don't mind. You could check it out. But the point is, the point really is that when the High Court threw it out, the guilty thing on appeal, the government brought it to the Supreme Court. At the Supreme Court, Arun Mishra was the lone judge. And he reversed this and said, grab those people and put them back in jail. Now, I looked at the Constitution. The Constitution allows the Supreme Court to overturn a High Court judgment of guilty. There is nothing in the Constitution which says that the Supreme Court is allowed to overturn a High Court judgment of not guilty. So this was again, and then Mr. Arun Mishra was made immediately after he retired. He became the head of the NCLAT, and finally you have the Khanwilkar. Khanwilkar sat for 2 months on the 3 most important judgments, including the Teesta Talwar and the 8 amendments which have turned the PMLA in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act into an instrument of terror against the entire opposition, now being used against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, and only recently used against the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. this, what you call it? Sorry. I've lost my train of thought. Just tell me what I was saying.
Yeah, no. My point is,
No,
what
no,
I
just remind me what I said.
right.
Because
You were talking about Justice Khanvilkar, that why
yes,
he
right,
actually
Justice Khanvilkar, he
yes.
then he threw out these three cases along with 217 others in his last week. His last week as Supreme Court judge. And today, this man is the Chief Vigilance Officer of India, the Lokpal of India. I mean, there cannot be a greater irony, a greater contempt for judiciary and law than that.
No,
And
but
then,
of course,
so one moment. So how is it that Nishikant Dubey cannot feel empowered by the entire Modi administration to turn upon the Supreme Court? That's what I wanted
right.
to say.
No, and before I also want to know from you that has the trigger been the latest Tamil Nadu governor case on which the Supreme Court set timelines for the president and for the governor, and this is what has irked the ruling dispensation, and which is why the vice president spoke about it. Then, of course, came the Waqf order. I mean, though the interim order has not been passed, but the first 2 days of hearing shows a lot as to what the court could do. So the point is that the vice president talking like that, the Nishikant Dubey talking like that, and in such a brazen manner is a message being sent out by the government that they're trying to, like as you said, that they are threatening. But is it also to clip the wings of the judges? That look, you cannot go beyond a certain limit. And of course, Justice Sanjeev Khanna is going to retire in a few days, and you'll have a new Chief Justice of India. So is that a message for the new CJI as well?
Most definitely, yes. I mean, but it's not just that. What the government is doing in the courts is essentially saying that the Supreme Court is, they're trying to destroy the Supreme Court's position as one of the three main pillars of democracy. They have been doing it for quite a long time. They have been doing it in a variety of ways, as I just described to you, through threat or let's call it the right word, bribery. But this is going. Nishikant Dubey is not doing it on his own. First and foremost, you look at the holding back of a bill by the governor, which has been done in three of the southern states now, is totally against the constitution, or because the governor has only the right to send a bill back for reconsideration. But after that has been done, for example, Arif Muhammad Khan in Kerala has held up 8 bills for God knows 2 or 3 years. This is the contempt of the constitution. Modi is showing contempt for the constitution, contempt for India's secularism, India's pluralism, contempt for not just the constitution, but for the very basis of what India is and has been made in the last 2,000 years. We're starting from Buddha through Akbar till today. I mean, this is a hideous parody of Hinduism that I see here. I'm a Brahmin, and I'm proud of being a Brahmin, and I will say this to their faces. This is a hideous parody of Hinduism. You people are not Hindus; you are demons.
No, but I also want to talk to you about Mr. Jha, the fact that yesterday JP Nadda, BJP president, distanced himself from what Nishikant Dubey said, that the party has nothing to do. So they will distance themselves on the tweet, but they will not take any disciplinary action. So what is this which the BJP is trying to project, and what is this entire drama all about?
It's very. There's nothing, no conscious projection. The real truth is that Modi and I think Shah together, I would say both of them, are aware now that they are not going to remain in power forever. The results of the 2024 elections came as a shock. If it only hadn't been for the Congress's stupid short-sightedness in provoking Nitish Kumar with Nyaya Jodo Yatra being forced through his state without his permission, there would have been no BJP government. today also Modi feels his power constrained by the fact that he has to constantly take into account two parties, neither of which are particularly friendly to the BJP or share his views. The Telugu Desam and the JDU. So there's an anxiety, there's a fear that that the government is unstable, and what they're trying to do, they're trying to stabilize it by playing the only card left, which is the card of hate, hate Muslims. Fight, push them into a position where they do, some youth somewhere do terrible things, and then you can say, see, we told you these people are things, and that becomes the excuse for destroying the last vestiges of democracy in this country.
But how long can BJP continue? I mean, they will obviously not want to have such a severe truck with the judiciary, because this was really strong and hard. With Nishikant Dubey talking about it like that, then Vice President, how long and to what extent will the BJP continue like this? I mean, and will Nishikant's position in the party will not become untenable,
I
or
can
he's going to
guarantee
continue unabated?
I can guarantee you one thing and one thing only: nothing will be done to Nishikant Dubey. Kapil Mishra, as I said earlier, is now finance minister of
Yeah.
India. Anurag Thakur is a deputy minister in another ministry. These are people who have blood on their hands, lots of blood, and yet nothing has been said against them. You see, this has gone in a series of clever subterranean moves. For example, none of the governors could have done, the southern governors could have been doing what they are doing, if they had not been instigated to do so by none other than the Home Minister. That's one. If no action is taken against them, then by definition, the Home Minister is responsible. He is behind it. Jagdeep Dhankar is exactly the same. Today there's a new competition developing in the BJP. How outrageous can we be in order to get closer to the Supremo Narendra Modi?
So by that standard, which means that Nishikant Dubey is going to be rewarded, maybe with and the cabinet reshuffle is on the cards, what I'm hearing. So he might get a portfolio as a minister.
I can't predict the future. I do not know at which point Modi will believe that this has gone too far and I can't do anything more. But I suspect that the kind of outcry against the Waqf bill and against Nishikant Dubey, both of which, mind you, have been issues on which the Supreme Court has been very strong. We have a very fine Chief Justice. And tragically, he's only got a few weeks left. So, but the point is, we have not had this kind of Chief Justice for a long time. The last one was under the Manmohan Singh government. So the judiciary had caved in earlier, not entirely, I'm glad to say, but on crucial issues like Ayodhya and Article 370, it did cave in and did things that are completely wrong. But now, the situation is that the BJP is being challenged and being told directly, and it's just waiting for Sanjeev Khanna to go. Right. Nothing is going to change. I assure you that they will. I do not know who the next Chief Justice will be. I do not know to what extent they've waved PMLA over his head. Don't forget that most of our judges have chief judges of any court have been lawyers before. And how is it possible for a lawyer to survive if he is defending clients against things and keep entirely clear of any sort of misdoing? For example, I think a lot of people, and I'm not blaming any single person or any single lawyer, but I do know from my personal experience that a lot of lawyers do take a part of their earnings in cash. Now, if there are, you see, today a situation has arisen where you could even make an allegation like this, put a person in jail, and leave him there for 6 years, or 5 years, or 4 years, without having to bother to.
During times of emergency, also, we've heard of a committed judiciary. You've seen it very closely. But
Oh, for
how
God's sake.
how is this attack? How is this attack on judiciary different from what we saw in 70s?
Nilu, I do not know how old you were in 1970. I suspect you were very, very young.
Yeah,
In 1970, 19, not 70 to 1975, I think.
77. Yeah.
77. But I was very much there, and I was already, in the upper reaches of journalism. And I can tell you that there is no remote relationship between this and whatever happened. Could you tell me what precisely you felt was the similarity between 1970s and now? Because
No,
it's just
I'm saying that what is the difference in the manner in which the judiciary is attacked now and it was attacked then? That's what I wanted to know from you.
first and foremost, the judiciary was not attacked then. Specifically, one judgment on the emergency was highly criticized, and there was you see the senior most judge of the Supreme Court was not given the post. Second senior most was given by Indira Gandhi, and that was the first in a sense violation of a code, but it was a lone violation. It was only one, and the two judges who resigned on it. Two judges resigned on this. Remember, they became heroes and remain heroes among those who remember those days. Now today, this situation is the exact opposite. The people who are giving outrageous judgments are being promoted to the highest positions in the land. I mean, this is a perversion of law, a perversion of justice, a perversion of government. We're in a jungle today. This is a jungle with wild animals around us.
Yeah. But Mr. Jha, for the kind of offense which Nishikant Dubey has done in the eyes of the common man and how people perceive the kind of comments he made on the judiciary, do you think that the apology would be enough, though a criminal petition, the criminal contempt petition has been filed? Attorney General has to accept that, give his consent, and then the proceedings will start. But do you think that the apology is enough, or he should face a jail term of 6 months? Because I was talking to the lawyers who said that if the criminal contempt proceedings take on, and if the court really is very serious on this criminal contempt case, then he will have no option but to face a jail term of 6 months.
Right. But I'm prepared to bet with you that we will never get to the point where Nishikant Dubey will be charged in court. Just mark my words. This is Modi Raj. This is not democracy.
No, but what is the kind of impact it leaves the judiciary with? Anyone can come, say anything, go back, and then there is no action on that person, be it the Lok Sabha MP or even the vice president?
Well, that's happened to every other institution in the country. Let me start with the first laws that were extended in an outrageous manner in the beginning of the second term of Modi were the Public Safety Act in Kashmir, the POTA, etc., and Unlawful Activities Act. All these amendments went through the what do you call it, the Lok Sabha, but at that time they did not have a majority in the Rajya Sabha. So you know what Mr. Amit Shah did? Whoever was actually managing the affairs, I presume it eventually came from the Home Ministry. It was that they fixed the Rajya Sabha date with 3 days' notice, so that many MPs couldn't even get there. But those who were on the BJP side, they were told in advance when it was going to be. Now, these are the kind of tricks. By the way, this trick was played more than once. So the thing is, the way these things are going on, there has been such utter contempt for the Constitution already. consistent contempt that we are very, very far away from a
No,
democracy
so if
now.
my last two questions to you, Mr. Jha, and very briefly, that if you are pretty sure that no action will be taken against Nishikant Dubey, and even the courts probably will not go to the extent of giving him a jail term, then which means that this episode is really going to embolden BJP in a big way, and we will not have one but many Nishikant Dubeys coming in the future who can say anything to the judiciary and they can be let off.
Well, the point of this is happening already. There are people who have, thumbed their nose at the judiciary uh, for the last 10 years. This is only the most spectacular case. And also, it's spectacular because, there's a certain sense of restraint which was there in the first term of Modi, and even to a slight extent in the second. In this third term, it's gone. We have to wait and see. I will not pass final judgment until I know whether the Attorney General takes the right action. My private bet is that there will be no action taken against Nishikant Dubey. But if I'm wrong, I should be delighted.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jha, for joining on the Federal. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.